Hi, my name is Allison DeCook. I am a Global Accounts Executive at Hayworth and a Crew West Michigan past president. This is my heart story. When I was in my late 30s, I was at a routine office visit with my doctor, and she heard a heart murmur. So because this was something new and we hadn't heard that before, I was put through a series of tests and evaluations, and then I learned that I had a condition, a congenital heart defect called bicuspid aortic valve. So what that means is my aortic valve had two cusps or two pockets rather than three. So this is pretty common heart-related birth defect, and many people have this. In and of itself, it doesn't really mean anything. It may lead to future issues. It may just be a thing that you have. And since I had this since birth and had no issues whatsoever, I had no physical limitations, I just didn't give much thought to it after that diagnosis. Well, fast forward several years later, and something felt off suddenly. I was at an industry trade show for work, and because the elevators were really backed up and the lines were very long, my colleagues and I were taking the stairs as much as possible. And I started to feel winded after just walking up one flight of stairs. This was very unusual for me, especially at that time. I was very fit, I was very physically active, and I thought that was strange, but didn't think too much of it because we were, hustling around that day. Well, then 24 hours later, my left ankle began to swell, and it continued throughout the day. And again, thought, just spent a lot of time walking today, no big deal. And then 4 or 5 days later, when the swelling didn't go away and it was becoming noticeable, where people were asking, hey, what's wrong with your ankle? I thought, something's strange, I better go to the doctor. So got right into the doctor. They did a series of tests and scans, and everything came back normal. Initially, they thought maybe I had a blood clot in my leg. I did not. So then I was referred to a cardiologist. More tests, more evaluations, and once I got through that process, I learned that I had aortic stenosis. Aortic stenosis is something you do not get when you're young unless you have a congenital heart defect. So what aortic stenosis is when your heart valve, in my case the aortic valve, begins to narrow and shrink, and it will over time continue to close until it completely closes, and that is game over. So that was a tough pill to swallow. So after learning about the diagnosis, of course, we discussed treatment, and I learned that the only treatment option is to replace the valve, which had to be done through open heart surgery. So the procedure and the protocol to repair this valve is that because I was at a young age, they wouldn't operate until I reached a severe stage. And I was currently in a mild to moderate stage. So we didn't know how quickly it would advance. Would it be 6 months, a year, 2 years? In my case, it was a little over 2 years, and then I underwent open heart surgery. Clearly, the operation was a success, as I am still here today and able to share my story. I feel amazing. I mean, the difference is unbelievable, really. So, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. And I think it's so easy to ignore the signs and symptoms when we're not feeling well because we lead busy lives and we don't want to slow down. So I encourage you, if you feel off, just something's a little unusual, and this goes for men as well, and please go visit your doctor and have that conversation because it could be something more. You don't go through an experience like this and not have it change you. I am so grateful for my friends and family and support system, for modern medicine and awesome medical care, and I'm especially grateful for my life, especially for my life. So thank you for listening to my heart story.
Hi, my name is Jamie Millspaugh. I'm the current president of Crew West Michigan, and I am the design director at Paradigm Design here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I wanted to share with you today a heart story that has affected my family. So I've attended the Heart of the City Gala the past 2 years, and to think that I'm sharing this story today with you is really quite a shock to me because this past fall, my husband actually had a heart attack. And Andy was he's a super athlete, runs probably 6 out of 7 days, at minimum 7 miles a day. He on Saturday mornings we'd get up with the Holland Run Club and he'd run 12 to 20 miles and never out of breath, never had any symptoms of having any heart issues. We just got back in August. We went to Costa Rica for a friend's wedding, had a wonderful trip. We were hiking up and down mountains, we were swimming in the ocean and having a wonderful time. And just short 4 weeks later, it was just like any other Saturday. We were headed, just like everybody else, to Michigan State University, where both of our kids go. Go green, go white. And we were at a tailgate with a bunch of friends, and we were having a great day. We had chicken and waffles. We had the whole spread. We were playing cornhole, and Andy was the waffle maker for the day. And halfway through the middle of the game, he's like, "I'm not feeling so well. I have heartburn." And I'm like, "Well, of course you have heartburn. We all have heartburn. We've been having, drinks and food and tailgate." So gave him some Tums. An hour later, he's like, "Still not feeling great." So we went for a walk around the stadium and then just kind of decided to head on home. So we got home. He had a busy week like us all. He works really hard during the week, travels quite a bit. I think he pulled an almost all-nighter for work, so I just assumed he was tired, went to bed. Woke up the next day, we went to church, we went to brunch, and he said, "I still kind of have heartburn." And I thought it was odd. I had suggested maybe he go for a bike ride or a run, just because sometimes that makes me feel better. So he went for a 10-mile bike ride up and down the lakeshore, came back. I was working on a proposal. It was a Sunday afternoon and was working on a presentation in my office. I could hear him upstairs kind of coughing a little bit. At evening time, I think it was around 9 p.m., he came down and he's like, "Hey, I think I'm going to go in and get some acid reflux medication at urgent care or the ER if it's not open," because he was traveling the next week again. And he's like, "I just don't have time to not feel good." Like us all, Andy works a lot of hours and just was trying to figure out, a way to just feel better and thought nothing of it. Ended up calling me from the ER saying, "You're going to be surprised, but I'm actually having a heart attack." So I drove over to the hospital, of course, right away, and he ended up having to have 2 stents put in. He had 80% blockage in one artery and I think 100% in another. And then the next day they followed up with another 2 stents. So, it was very shocking, to say the least, because he had 0 symptoms. He was an athlete. I think his average pace for a 10K is like 6:10. And really no reason to have any kind of concern other than he did have some family history. So looking back, should he have gotten some earlier screenings? There's a possibility, yes. I will say our insurance doesn't necessarily cover all those screenings unless you have symptoms or issues. So, there's some places that you can go online and check it out. There's some local life screening that you can have done. I think it's only a couple $100s where you can go in and they can run a bunch of tests and give you some really good preventative information that you can share with your doctors, and also just so you kind of have a peace of mind.
Yang, you're going solo today.
Been there.
Cardio solo.
Whatever it is,
Valve replacement.
nobody forgets it.
Porcine or mechanical?
So I can try out the subannular stitches.
Well, I didn't teach it to you so you could crochet.
Okay, thank you. Oh my God.
What? What?
Altman's letting her go solo on a valve.
Wow. You feel ready?
She's ready. She just needs to breathe.
I am breathing. I am a living, breathing cardiothoracic surgeon as of right now. I have to go prep.
Sometimes you don't even know anything's changed. You think you're still you and your life is still your life. But you wake up one day and look around and you don't recognize anything. Not anything at all.
Hi, Ruthie. This is Dr. Yang. She'll be performing your surgery today. She is the best of the best. You're gonna like her.
Oh, good. I am so glad to meet you. I have a couple things I want to discuss. Can I?
Of course, of course.
I have allergies. I know they write them in the chart, but I find that if you don't tell everyone, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I mean,
Yeah.
Aspirin, ibuprofen, bananas, zucchini, all forms of squash, and pumpkin is a squash, right? A lot of people forget that. Latex, dust mites. I asked the nurse with the red hair for a new pillow, and I would also love to get a new nurse because I think the redhead just brought back the old pillow with a new case, and it's it's making me sneezy. And I'm supposed to get a mechanical valve, but I'm thinking about the clicking noise. They say the mechanical valve makes. I mean, that would be irritating, right? Don't you think that might just make you nuts?
I'm sorry, but a different valve is a whole different procedure.
Yes, but I think the pig is a better idea. The pig valve, it's organic, right? And they say they're very clean. All that business about, oh, you're such a pig, right? I mean, that's just bad marketing. And this blanket, it has a smell. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not clean. It's like a chemical of some kind it's chafing and it's causing. Can you see my rash?
Oh, Dr. Altman, the patient is no longer interested in the mechanical valve.
Well, I couldn't give you a total unadulterated dream case. People would talk.
I just spent hours prepping for the mechanical. A pig valve is a whole different surgery.
2 for the price of 1. Just think about how much you're learning. You want me to get someone else?
No.